Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and here I've got game 2 of a best of 3. It's on the ZvZ UK Masters. It is between two incredible players, but let me just introduce them. In the lower left position, spawning as the blue Zerg player from Team Liquid, it is Ret. And his opponent, up in the top right, from Western Wolves, desperate to stay in the series, currently 0-1 down, it's Ziktomini. Star Station is the map, Force Cross Spawns is the mode, and all in all, this should be a fun ZvZ. Neither player is going to be too happy about taking a third base, which is so open, but that's fair because it's a mirror matchup, and they both have exactly the same situation. So that's why map choice, I'd say in ZvZ, probably, I'm not sure, I'd probably say ZvZ is the least map-dependent matchup. I think that's fair to say, because PvP there are certain maps in certain spawn positions where one player gets a bit of an advantage with warp-in distances, where they can put pylons in their natural, etc. I'm thinking Entombed. The other one is of course TVT, is that really? I don't know, It's one of these things to ponder, but I can't really think of any map where a certain Zerg player would be favoured in certain spawn positions. So yeah, ZvZ, pretty balanced across maps, just because there's no way to wall off or anything like that. But yes, as I was saying, let's get back to the game. Game 1, Ret did win it. Ziktomini went for a, well, it was a 12 pull. A 12 over pull, actually, technically. So that's always a big thing, because if you don't scout that, you can have a lot of damage on him. Ret, he lost his natural, did manage to cancel it. Held it off really nicely, lost no drones, then went for a bit of a counter push with Zerglings and Banelings. And then there was a bit of back and forth thing of aggression until both players eventually decided to get out a lot of Mutalisks. At which point Ret got more with better upgrades and won. And that's how ZvZ goes nowadays, boys and girls. The one player gets more Mutalisks and wins. So yeah, that's really what it all comes down to. Ziktomini still favouring getting out the earlier spawning pool, Ret still favouring getting down the earlier hatchery. So there's not much. The variations between when they got their pools and hatches, it was I believe a 15 pool from Ziktomini and a 15 hatch compared to a 15 hatch, and it must have been a 16 pool, or it may have actually been gas first by Ret. So the difference being really is just that you get a queen out slightly quicker and the option of Zerglings if you get the pool first, but it's not a huge difference. To be fair, it's not something that's going to be really game-breaking, because you can still defend against the 15 pool if they would decide to go for 6lings with a hatch first build. So that's all fine. Also, Ret with just this much earlier gas, he's already going to get speed out considerably faster. He's going to have the options for Banelings quite a bit sooner, and that makes a big difference actually in a ZvZ. Whoever gets the quicker upgrades tends to have quite a big advantage. If you've got a lot of Speedlings and Banelings up against only Slowlings, generally speaking, you're not going to have much fun. You're going to tend to lose quite a bit and potentially lose the game. Having said that though, it's not the be-all and end-all who gets the upgrades quicker. There are obviously things like drone count, the number of bases you've got, your production, how good your injects are, and what tech you go for, because ultimately you can get a whole ton of Banelings out, but if your opponent has gone for a double evolution chamber spine crawler queen wall off at the front and decided to go for a mass roach push behind that, your Banelings are going to be pretty ineffective. But for the moment we do see that Ziktomini will be able to get into the base. We'll see the gas down quite early. We'll see the spawning pool researching. That is a really important tell. You can see with a little shimmer in the spawning pool that that's going down. And once you spot that, you know that, hey, speed's coming out very, very quickly. It's a lot earlier than mine because I'm only just starting it. So that's something that obviously Ziktomini is going to be aware of, knowing that there's a lot better map control and awareness available for Ret. Ret's also getting down his Baning Nest a lot sooner, but I don't believe that Ziktomini saw that. No, he hasn't. So this Overlord could come a little bit closer potentially, could kind of snuffle its way in there, and basically then it would be able to see what else was coming down. So all in all, these two players are fairly even at the moment, a couple of seconds ahead for Ret, I would say, but Ziktomini has got an additional drone over his opponent, and one drone may not sound like a much, nor will it be much, as we see Ret pumping out more and more in front of him, but ultimately every little helps in a mirror matchup. The worker count is directly comparable because the macro mechanics are identical, and the units and what they're spending on are very, very similar. So Lair is a lot sooner now for Ret. This is a considerably earlier Lair. All of his tech has come out so much quicker, just due to the fact that he got this gas so much sooner as well. He's taking his third and fourth gas as well, already mining off 2 gas. Ziktomini only just finished up his second gas now, so he's getting very far behind in terms of the Vespin. Is starting his Lair, but that started a good 40 seconds before that of Ret. And with Ret having the additional gas so much sooner, he can get 2 base mutant out so effectively, and it's going to be very difficult for Ziktomini to deal with that. Ret is about to lose an Overlord though. That will supply block him. That's very frustrating. It uses up an additional lava, which may not sound like much, but just losing a lava and those 100 minerals is frustrating, because that's one less drone, and all in all, it's just it's one of those things which you don't really want to happen, but you can't really do much to stop it either. So Leo is down for red. His Spire is already started. It started pretty much instantly as far as I could see, so that very early on Spire just means that, all in all, he's going to be able to get Mutas out sooner, hopefully more Mutalisks, and also better upgrades for those Mutalisks quicker. He's also got a lot more gas, but all he's got to be careful of is, because Ziktomini took these gas later, he's going to have more minerals. Therefore, if he's got more minerals, as you can see, he's got a lot more Zerglings, namely an indefinably larger amount of Zerglings at 10-0. That's going to help him defend, but there are Spine Crawlers coming down. There's also Evolution Chambers, so a nice little wall-offy coming down off from red here. That's going to just really allow the Queen to block everything down. Really nice defense position, and that means that any advantage Ziktomini would have had by having more Zerglings has been completely negated, just due to the fact that red has so much more. And oh, the Banelings! That was such a misclick there. All of the Banelings detonate on the unbuildable plates, and the unbuildable plates didn't even manage to do anything about it. However, the Spire is nearly down. That was a big loss, losing that many Banelings on the unbuildable plates. I feel sorry for Red now. That was never a fun thing to happen, and luckily they've changed in the latest patch. You've got to attack move plates to make it work, so that's fine. Anyway, coming back here, we do have a lot more Zerglings on their way down. We do have, obviously, the Spire coming out as well here for Ziktomini. In terms of the Zergling count, it is heavily favouring the purple player from Western Wolves. Red, though, he's going to have a lot more Mutas out quite a bit quicker, because he's already starting to produce them. The Spire isn't even done yet. The upgrades for those Mutalisks are going to be out quicker as well. This third base is being very bold, and Ziktomini needs to be careful. Does just pull back in time. Oh my goodness, that was close. The Baneling does get taken out as well now, though, but the Baneling threat is always going to be there. 2 Banelings will kill 1 Baneling, which is not a good trade, but it's better than having any Banelings coming up against you. But the Mutalisks hitting the field will be like, no. These Banelings shall be no more. The Zergling's trying to come in, but a cancel is going to have to go down. No real option other than to do that. 10 Mutalisks are now in production, and Ziktomini will have his third base out considerably sooner, just due to the fact that it's done, and Ret is only just getting restarted now. So that's a big advantage for Ziktomini, who's getting out a lot more Mutalisks, 11 in production. But, as we can see, we've already got 11 out on the field for Red, so it's exactly equal. The upgrade, though, is a good 70 seconds ahead, actually 80 seconds ahead. That is quite monumental, and if Red uses that to his advantage, he can really have some good engagements here, and he needs to do some damage, because having to restart that third base will put him economically behind quite a long way. All in all, Inject's going down nicely. That's just the only other thing I'm really checking around for. Red running Zerglings everywhere. Ziktomini also running Zerglings everywhere. Also keeping another Zergling here, which is something that you could argue Red isn't doing, which really would be a good move. It's always positive to know that when your opponent is taking these additional bases, and as we see now, Ziktomini is moving across to go and take that. Overlords are getting taken out by the Mutalisks of Ziktomini. Another thing that Red hasn't really been doing, he is supply blocked as well. That is incredibly frustrating, because that's going to hurt his Mutalist production, which means the Mutaflock for Ziktomini could get quite considerably larger. So this is obviously something that Red is going to want to counteract. He is coming in with a bit of aggression, though. He does have the +1 carapace kicking in right now. He starts +1 air attack immediately after it, so there's better upgrades on the Mutas. It's going to be working to his advantage. He also has 1 more Muta in total, so that means that everything Red does at the moment against these Mutas will be to his advantage. He takes out a couple there. 14-15 though, so actually Ziktomini just coming out slightly better. Some of Red's Mutas must not have been in that fight. We do see that the 4th base Red attempting to take is trying to get denied by these Zerglings. It's going to be close, but I think the cancel will be forced now, and it will indeed, so Red gets that off, restarts the 4th base. The 4th base, I don't believe Red has seen that yet. No, he hasn't, so he isn't aware that that's coming down. That's something that obviously Red needs to identify quite quickly. Ziktomini knows that the 4th is there, also knows if a 5th was trying to be taken, just down to having the better vision. The +1 missile attack is about a third done for Red. +1 carapace for flyers is only just completing at the moment for Ziktomini, but Ziktomini does have 2 additional Mutalisks, so that in itself is a bit of an advantage. But straight away starting up the +1 flyer attack, that's again 80 seconds behind, so there's these 80-second windows Red has to try his best to try and engage the Mutaflock and deal good damage. But as you see, both players pumping out a lot of Mutalisks, trying their best. The supply is incredibly equal. The worker count is favouring Red though, 62-56. That means that he should have the slightly better income, and if we flick over here we see he's got slightly more mineral income. His gas income probably a little bit lower. Zerglings yet again pushing in though towards this 4th base, but reinforcements coming in for Red. He's going to try and hold this off as long as he can. He desperately wants to keep that hatchery up because he knows Ziktomini does have his own fourth. And if you notice that, oh no, he doesn't actually, he hasn't scouted the fourth yet for Zikto. That could potentially be a bit of a problem. He could have been harassing that with his Mutalisks quite effectively, keeping a lot of units up here though, making sure that his own fourth base does stay put. +1 flyer attack is about 10 seconds away from completion, so once that kicks in, it's going to be exceptionally beneficial for Ret in any engagement on Muta action. We do see that the Mutalist count is exceptionally equal as well, 30 to 29 in Ret's favour. The upgrade advantage there for Ret as well, and he's moving forward. He's going for some aggression. He finds the fourth base now, is going to be going for the engagement, focusing down the Mutalists first as best he can, and as we can see, just such a crazy amount of damage being done on both sides. The Muta count is still favouring Ret. Just the more Zergling reinforcements coming in, that means that Ret's Bounty Blades can engage there, but Ziktomini not putting them underneath. There he goes, now doing the correct thing, but already Ret coming out with quite a defining lead there, 15 to 11 Mutalisks. More in production as well for Ret here, just due to having more money in the bank. 10 more Mutalisks coming out, and Ziktomini is in a huge amount of problems at the moment. If he doesn't engage this very, very soon and really deal with it, he's going to have a monumental comeback on his hands, because ultimately he's still behind in terms of the upgrades. The Mutalist count is way higher for Ret at the moment, 22 to 16. That means some good engagements. Supply count also 20 above, and here we go. Going in now, the Zerglings are going straight for that hat-trick, trying to do as much damage as they can. The attack arc better as well here for Ret, and he's coming out on top. The Mutaflock for Ziktomini coming down quite substantially, and these are even reinforcements coming in, so they're trickling. The actual standing army is so much better for Ret. He takes out the fourth game. There's the GG, and that means that Ret takes the series 2-0. Very nicely done by the Liquid player. Remember, if you like the cast, like the video, leave a cool comment, and of course subscribe. I hope to see each and every one of you tomorrow, because I get new games up daily. I'm Madals, see you then.